Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
Today we're going to be talking about 1984's Black Devil Doll from Hell.
You know, I really don't have any catchphrases for this one. We usually do. It speaks for itself. You'll find out why.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I need the keys. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Where's head and knockers? This book ain't got no real poetry. Brenda.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
You could have looked decent once in a while. And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creepy.
Before we get started talking about this wonderful piece of art that you've bestowed upon the Grindbin audience and forced everybody, including me, to watch, let's take a listen to the trailer.
Is there a trailer?
No. Not officially.
No.
Now, you have some information on why.
Well, here's the thing. Let's get into the background of this film. So we're going to start out. Black Devil Doll from Hell. Directed, written, and produced by Chester Novell Turner. Now, the information on this guy in his film spans all the way from the New York Times to the Chicago Tribune.
Wait, I'm sorry. Whoa. Hold up. This movie that we watched, what you call a movie, was mentioned in the New York Times.
And Chicago Tribune extensively.
Now I'm shocked because I didn't think anybody outside of like a trash can that found a VHS has seen this movie. So
You're going to be...
okay, let's hear it.
You could say he is the everyman celebrity.
Oh.
If you will. So, like I said, written, directed, produced by Chester Novell Turner. He made this film in 1984. Largely influenced by the Twilight Zone, Chester has always been writing short stories. It was during the VHS revolution of the 1980s, and amidst the Friday the 13th craze, Chester thought, I could do that too. Now, this is...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, this is not his only film. He did a film after this called Tales from the Quedead Zone. He spelled, I don't know what that word means.
Quedead?
Yeah. Quadead zone.
Huh.
I don't know, but that was shot in the same style
Oh, wonderful.
and released in 1997. Also direct on video. All these films he shot were all shot on like a home camcorder, edited within the camcorder. And the music, all Casio keyboard.
Now, is that confirmed or just conjecture?
No, that's pretty much confirmed.
Okay.
Now, the budgets, let's take some guesses here.
Okay, $5.
Mm-mm.
15.
No.
Okay.
$10,000. $10,000.
$10,000
Yes.
for this movie?
Yeah.
On what?
Who knows?
Fuzzy accounting.
Who knows? It
What,
says-
catering? On what?
I mean, that puppet does look pretty, but it is so...
Okay,
yes.
we just made a short film for $10,000 that I would like to think looks a little bit better than this.
And it's said that he finances by himself, but in interviews it said his parents did help him finance this. So he was like in his 30s when he made this film. Now, the profits from this
Really?
film...
I thought this was made by a kindergartner. So
No.
that's...
No.
That is also shocking.
No.
30s?
Yes. Because he was born in 1950. So he's around 68, 69 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So the thing about this film is that it wasn't shown in theaters. It was just sold to independent, like, VHS stores, like, you know,
This was
video
sold
stores.
to us. I thought I could have sworn that this movie was just sold on the streets of New York, like by him, bootleg copies at one of those little prop-up tables.
Sweded. It was a sweded film. No, these were sold to video stores, and they would rent them out to customers. And he made...
Someone rented this?
Yeah, and he finally got a check for it after, I think, about a year, and it was under $1,000 was his return.
Wait, no, like a profit return? Like,
Yeah.
so he made
No.
11,000 or...
No, he only got like under $1,000 back total. So that was his...
It's a very Dangerous Men type release.
Yes. So let's
Well, at least, it did beat Dangerous Men because that only made $72 in its first 4 days.
Right. So this film, if anyone's wondering, let's go and I want to go into the synopsis first because you've all got to be wondering what the hell are we talking about this film, Black Devil Doll from Hell. A shot on video chiller of supernatural evil. Helen Black, a prim, proper, righteous, deeply religious woman, buys a strange doll in a curio shop. The shop's owner tells her that the doll has been purchased 4 different times, and each time it has found its way back to that shop. Helen's life soon becomes a nightmare of dynamic and erotic possession as the doll from hell comes to life, giving her her deepest heart's desire, resulting in a bizarre ending to Helen's horror.
Well, you've described the whole movie, so thanks for joining us, everybody, on this episode of Grindbin.
Thank you and good night.
I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
You can find us on grindhousefilm.com as well as Twitter.
Don't forget to hit that big purple subscribe button.
Oh, and please rate and review on iTunes.
It is a punishing watch, but it's one not to forget. Now, let's go deeper into this because it does go pretty deep. Now, after this film failed to gross in the green, you could say, he gave up filmmaking. Soon after, he met a woman with 8 children and helped raise them. He then started a home remodeling business. Now, however, unbeknownst to him, our Manchester, his tapes continue to be passed around and viewed by people who cannot comprehend what they are seeing. Now,
so it found a new home years after.
Many homes. In 1996, it is believed Chester Novell Turner was killed in a car crash.
Oh, no.
All questions the world had regarding his 2 films were seemingly lost forever. That is until 2013, when a fan of Turner's named Louis Justin, whom runs Massacre Video, tracked him down after making, get this, hundreds of phone calls to Chester Turners across the country.
Why?
He's a fan.
Why?
He's a fan. Turns out Mr. Turner is alive and well and lived merely blocks away from the video store that once sold his movies.
Oh.
And upon calling him, Louis asked if that was the same Chester that directed the Quad Zone, if you want to call it that, and Black Devil Doll from Hell. To which he replied, "Yeah, what do you want to know about that?" And from that phone call conversation spawned a new distribution deal that would find Black Devil Doll from Hell gracing the screens of midnight screenings
Oh my god.
of curious fans the world over.
Wow.
That's right, sold-out screenings have breathed new life into the Black Devil Doll from Hell. When asked if he would ever make a new film, the now 68-year-old Turner replied, "I haven't made my masterpiece yet." Let's go over the cast.
Oh, Lord.
This cast information, according to B Movie Dumpster, Keith Turner, voice of the Black Devil Doll and brother of director Chester
he
Novell
was
Turner.
just credited as a question mark, though.
Oh, that was
in
the
the
actor.
movie.
Well, that was the actor that's going to be playing the Black Devil Doll when it's moving around and dancing and doing its deed. Though we have yes, but Keith Turner, voice of the Black Devil Doll and brother of the director Chester Novell Turner, currently has a warrant out for his arrest. Shirley L. Jones played Helen Black, now resides in Loxahatchee, Florida, and has 3 children. Reverend Dunstan, the Reverend in the beginning of the film, is now blind due to a violent protest on his church in 1987, in which bleach was thrown into his eyes.
Oh my god.
Despite this, he still preaches all services at his church in Illinois, USA.
God damn.
Amen, I know. Oof. This movie was shot in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA, in a church, a bar, and a basement. This movie was originally released on VHS by Hollywood Home Theater. Believe it or not, 2 versions of this film exist. One featuring strictly costume music, and a heavy metal re-edit, which changes some of the music and cuts.
Ah, that's why it says re-edited.
Yes.
By.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to allude to that next. Because the one we saw says re-edited, you're like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, how many times has this thing been chopped and chopped and chopped, and still we're left with this?
Yeah.
So, the one which opens with the heavy metal music is a shorter version, which trims the
Oh, thank God.
It trims the never-ending pans and long bits of dialogue to improve the pacing of the movie.
Oh my God. Thank God I saw that version.
Right? Now, some trivia. The doll was purchased at a hobby shop in Chicago, Illinois. Moreover, the doll was played by the director's nephew in the scenes in which it walks. The original title for the movie was The Puppet. The title was later changed to appease a VHS distributor who agreed to release the film, but only if the original title was dropped and replaced with Black Devil Doll from Hell. Moreover, it was the VHS distributor who came up with the idea for the opening theme song. Yeah.
So that was the re-editing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, almost everyone who worked on this film got paid, believe it or not. However, Chester Novella Turner himself wasn't paid anything for making this movie.
Well, he did fund the movie.
His movie himself, yes. So there you go. Now, the dolls. Here's a fun fact for you: the doll's head fell off during the filming of the sex scene, which I really wish they left in there.
Oh, that would have been great.
The script was written in 3.5 days.
That long?
Yeah, I thought this was like a lunch break.
I thought just as they went. Wow.
As they went, the dummy's cornrow hairstyle was done as a tribute to singer Rick James.
Oh,
The director,
I'm sure he'd be proud.
He would be. The director, Chester Novella Turner, looped the voice of the second lover with his own voice in post-production. The doll's tongue was made out of latex and a coat hanger. The bar was owned. The bar was owned by Chester's brother-in-law, and last but not least, the curio shop was in Chicago. Moreover, the scenes in the curio shop were done in a single day.
Okay, I failed to see where $10,000 went.
I failed to see that too.
I guess he paid his actress well.
You could say,
Well, she did have to get naked, so hopefully she got paid something.
yeah. Well, let's hear from someone else. We have a review,
Oh, no.
but it's not from our boy Woody, unfortunately.
I feel like this is far below Woody Anders.
It cannot be bothered. This one was from Poor Logic. I'm sorry, the username is poor_logic. April 13th, 2002. With the headline, An Unflinching Look into the Struggles of Single Middle-Class African-American Woman and the Conflicts that
Oh my
erupt
God.
between a forbidden relationship and her religion.
This is a joke, right?
Yeah. It made me laugh. Chester Novella Turner's social commentary piece about the struggles faced by a young, average-looking African-American woman and the troubles she encounters with her religious beliefs and the puppet she loves. Turner has a magic ability for character development. We learn that the female character
Oh my God.
is religious not only through a 10-minute phone call conversation, but also a 10-minute camera pan displaying all the religious artifacts hung from her wall. The film's sexy side places the female lead with an abusive, controlling puppet that simply does not care about the women who nurture and care for him. While some scenes may be difficult to watch, the end result clearly displays the destructive nature when a woman makes love to a puppet. Not since Jurassic Park have visual effects seemed so real. Many scenes of the puppet actually look like a 6-year-old kid. Truly amazing. I wish the Academy had opened their eyes in 1985
Lord.
and taken notice to this masterpiece. A great story, jaw-dropping visual effects, and to top it off, a soundtrack that hasn't been heard since I accidentally pressed the demo key on my Casio keyboard. For this video, it will make you rethink your social circle's dominance. That is courtesy of IMDb Trivia.
Wow. Okay, so the way he watched this movie, other than I guess there's a distribution deal.
Yeah, or a midnight screen.
Yeah, is on YouTube. And somebody literally just recorded off their VHS tape because it says play with the blue screen and then the movie just starts playing. So, well, this movie, okay, so before we start, I have some comments about this movie.
Yeah.
I would say this is the worst, absolutely the worst production valued movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And that's taking into account Dangerous Men, Birdemic, which if
The
you haven't seen
Room.
that movie, oh, for fuck's sake. I thought nothing would beat Birdemic.
No.
Shot on like a Sony Handycam, and you can't hear anything in that movie. I had not seen Black Devil Doll from Hell. Before we get into this movie, by the way, just a side note. Chris and I are marathon recording these episodes of Grindbin that you're listening to right now. Chris is currently off on tour with his band. I believe he's... Where are you, in Canada right now?
I will be either in the East Coast or in Canada right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by the time you hear this.
So we have just been marathoning these last couple episodes and spreading them over a few weeks just so we don't miss anything.
Grind binging, if you will.
Yes.
And here comes the grind purge.
But as far as our other features, like the grind dating and all that, it will return.
Yes.
When Chris returns. So for right now, we'll just hope Chris comes back.
I hope I come back too.
So maybe when Chris is on tour, which if he isn't, this won't even go into the podcast, we'll get a few tidbits of him on the road and the various people he's going to encounter. He knows a few fans over on the East Coast who have been really wanting to get on the show or just kind of do some sort of shout out or recommend a movie or something.
Grindbinners, grind spinners. I'll meet you all.
And we usually say this at the end, but if you want to get in touch with us, check out our website, grindhousefilm.com. We're also on twitter.com/grindpod. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. And we're also on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, all over the place.
Google Play.
Oh, yeah. And if you could rate and review the show, we'd really, really appreciate that. So without further ado, as you can hear this Casio song playing.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Let's get into the movie.
Oh, boy.
So we start out with a long credit sequence, and this guitar riff, heavy metal song starts playing. Now, this credit sequence seems like it goes on for a little bit. In fact, it goes on for more than 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, in fact, when it was going on, when I went to click on the TV to see how long it went on for, I laughed out loud. 2 drops of pee came out of me when I saw how much time had elapsed. In fact, 3 drops came out when I saw the director's name twice at the end for 2 different credits. It could have been on one title screen.
Oh, and the names stay up for way too long.
And
I mean, like, each slide... Okay, so each slide stays up on the screen for about 30 to 40 seconds with maybe one name in it.
Yeah.
Then it'll cut to black for another 40 seconds.
With this music going on.
Oh, and there's only about 6 names.
Yeah.
It takes us a whole minute to get through it.
Yeah.
And this is, apparently why there's a credit for re-edited by... But he seemed to re-edit his name into those original credits, so I don't know if the re-editor was the one who made these super long credits or not.
Hell no.
So the next thing we see is we cut to outside of a church real fast, maybe about a split second of a shot.
When these cuts happen, they're not really so much as cuts as in lapses in consciousness.
So we cut inside this church, and we get this slow zoom of many zooms into this preacher standing behind a podium. We can't understand anything he says because all the audio for this movie is recorded off the camera. So what it sounds like is somebody talking into a tin can from across the room.
Yep.
I cannot hear him.
I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I'll come again and receive you unto myself.
Then we cut to a slow zoom of 2 women sitting in the pews of the church. They're obviously listening to the preacher because I can still hear him now louder than I could originally. And they are talking to each other, yet I can't hear a word. Absolutely nothing. Nothing can be understood.
I could glean nothing of dialogue or any exposition.
Boy, isn't this sounding boring. I could think of something else I'd much rather do. Girl, shut your mouth.
But after that shot of the 2 women, we cut to maybe a second long shot of the preacher again, and the camera almost falls over, and then we just cut. And I just put at this point, this looks like a really bad home video. Like, and then they didn't edit it. Like, when you were a child and your dad would film like a birthday party and, you know, you didn't have any editing software. So every now and then you'd get a cut of just the camera like swooping or something. And then it cuts for a second because he realized he was, oh shit, I'm recording.
Yeah.
That's what this whole movie feels like.
This is like a baptism, birthday, soccer game, sex video all into one. Like, it's all like the communal family video that got, like, someone left it out, and they're just gonna record whatever's going on at that moment. Like, I'm gonna get it on with a puppet right now. I'm gonna use this here tape and film it, and I'm gonna save it for later, and I might end up in a midnight screen, and who the fuck knows? Why is this there church in there in this video? I don't know what's going on. You know, it's like
$10,000.
Yeah.
And the fact that he thought this, well, I gotta get this on home video. People need this in their houses. I mean,
it'll be on every shelf across America.
So we cut to the outside of this church, and a group of people are walking out of the church. Another zoom, of course, because I would say 95% of the shots in this movie include zooms. Sometimes too far.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where focus is no longer Even an afterthought.
Because you think at first maybe it's an artistic choice. No.
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 Apparently, he was very excited. He just got a camera that had a zoom button, and he's like, "Oh shit! I don't even need to move in or take another shot.
I can just sit on this lawn chair and film it from here."
Fuck close-ups. You know, you can just zoom in.
I wonder if I zoom in on the mouth, it'll make it louder when they talk.
So we watch as these two ladies, they walk out of the church, and this is where we get, if you can hear it below us, this amazing Casio keyboard music that will play through the whole movie pretty much. And I put, at this point, the camera is shaky as all hell.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a lot of wind noise, too. Oh, plenty of wind noise. Thank you, Mother Nature. It makes...
I can't get over that. So then we cut to one of the ladies from the church. Okay, so I guess this is Helen. However, you don't learn her name until almost all the way through the movie. Yeah. So I just have written in my notes "lady" for the most part.
Yeah, you don't know what the hell's going on for the first half hour.
So these ladies, they walk out of the church. Well, now we're just on to Helen. She's walking down the street. I wrote the lady with the big hair. She walks alone down the street. And then a guy, he's standing in front of an open trunk. And he just goes, "Hey, mama, come take a look at what I got." We cut to a wider shot of the lady walking, but this is, okay, did you notice this? So we cut from him saying, "Hey, mama, take a look at what I got," which is one of the only close-ups in the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Then we cut to a wide shot of her walking, mid-sentence of him already talking.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Hey," he finishes a line and then starts the other line where he's like, "I got everything you need. Why don't you come on over to the wagon?
Come and take a look at what I got. Step right on this way, man. Step right this way. This is the way to the wagon."
So he leads her over, and he shows her what's inside his trunk. And what do we got there, Chris?
Some boom boxes, some stereo equipment,
a TV, a car stereo.
And I could almost tell you the serial numbers on these things because we zoom in so fucking much that I can see the fibers in the bottom of the fucking trunk.
And then he pulls out a coat, and he goes, "Come on now. So it's good for a windy day, you know? You need this coat."
And we know it's windy because we hear the fucking wind noise on the microphone for the whole fucking time.
You know, he just wanted to create a good sense of atmosphere for us. Yeah. I'm sure they added it in later.
Yeah.
And I wrote, this is good because at this point when he's showing her the coat, you can see slightly in the background somebody watching.
Yeah.
And it looked like somebody was just there while they were filming, probably going like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. Oh, look at home video. Look, I got a new camcorder. Is that an RCA or a Sony?
So the lady says, Helen says, "Don't you know it's wrong to steal? It's in the Bible. It's one of the 10 Commandments." And then he tries to talk his way out of it. Says something like, "Come on, mama, come on." She's like, "I'm not your mama," and then leaves. And at this point, I thought Helen was 80.
I did too, because the way she's dressed is 1800s.
And she's wearing those big old lady glasses, and she's got her hair all big, like old lady hair.
Yeah.
I have no idea she was 30 or whatever.
I mean, if we didn't see this guy, we wouldn't know when this film took place. If we didn't see these boomboxes, we have no context of time, location, nothing.
So the lady goes to her house, right? And then we have this amazing music. The Casio music plays as she walks into the house. The phone rings. Okay. She answers the phone, and I put, which we can't really understand anything that's said, because as she talks, the camera just kind of floats away from her. Almost as if okay, I would say whenever we're using the crane, the jib, okay? If you let go of it and it's improperly balanced a little bit, it'll just start floating by itself. It seems like the camera just kind of floats around, you know?
Like the tripod, if there was one, somehow if someone was leaning against it, didn't know against the arm, just started kind of turning.
Or it's anytime that you have a parent recording some sort of soccer game or something like that as a kid, they would always do this. Was the action would be going on, then all of a sudden they decide "Oh, well, I should get something else," and then they start panning over to the crowd for some reason.
Yeah,
while the game's going on.
Yeah,
and they're "Well, we get shots of the family and everything."
Well, you see the other team's family sitting there eating a potato chip bag or something, or chugging a beer.
And lots of zooms.
Yeah, why do your kid's out of frame 3 feet over there?
Yeah, okay. So while she's talking on the phone, the camera floats around and then it zooms in to a church calendar on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still zoomed in. It kind of wanders back into empty space near her shoulder, and it gets really blurry. And then all of a sudden it just cuts to plastic covered furniture on this couch. And then we zoom in again.
And we zoom into a corner of a wall for some reason.
Well,
And-
okay. I would say that's where we zoom into that little Bible on the coffee table.
oh yeah, yeah.
Then it cuts to that corner of the wall.
I think there's like 3 corners we get to see. in this
The
house.
camera. Okay, so it zooms into that Bible. Then it floats around totally out of focus for a while, and eventually zooms out onto some statue.
Yeah.
Then, and I put at this point there is no cut. This is all still going on as one take. She's still talking on the phone.
The conversation we can't hear. It's inaudible.
No, can't hear anything.
You hear something about fornicating, like you got to get yourself a man and start fornicating. And she goes, "Oh no, I won't fornicate. I'm a godly woman." And that's our exposition.
I didn't even get
I
that.
heard that. That's our only exposition, that she's a godly woman and she's a moral high ground.
If you couldn't tell that by the parent dialogue, don't worry, because he zooms into Bibles about 90 times during this whole part, or the church calendar, and the only word I can really understand is God or church. So after that, we zoom into that open book, which I assume is a Bible, but before we see anything, it just cuts immediately
Yeah.
to another shot of a painting on a wall. Zoom out again, pan around. We're getting a real good layout of our living room at this point from all angles.
At least we're getting an establishing shot.
180 rule be damned.
We're making new rules as we go.
Then we cut to phone buttons. Super zoomed in on the phone buttons. Zoom out. She's still talking on the phone. Then we just pan around the kitchen for a little bit because I guess this is some sort of like real estate video for this house or something.
I think I saw some recipes on the fridge. I'm going to try them out.
I wrote, the conversation is still going on. Something about church? Question mark.
Yeah. Basically, her mom, I think it is, or her grandmother wants her to find a man. And that's the gist of it.
I can't even believe you got that out of it.
I could get that much.
Then we have a fast cut of a Bible again, just to reinforce all this church stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back to the lady. Zoom out again. And if they didn't have, I wrote, if they didn't have a zoom, I don't know how they would have made this movie. So she finally hangs up the phone. We get another great Casio song that plays. And all of a sudden, she's outside of this store. Curio store, I guess. I guess that just means like, what, antique store? Tchotchkes
Curious,
type
yeah.
store?
It's a lot of what have yous, if you will. A lot of,
The Casio music still playing. She walks into the store. I love this. This lady behind the counter goes, "Can I help you? Can I help you?" And then
we cut to her just staring at
for a good 5 seconds of silence.
Yeah.
And then, "Oh, I'm just looking right now." It's just like a Dangerous Man.
Yeah.
When he gets from the desk and he just goes, "David, don't go looking after those bikers." So we get another zoom as she looks through the items in this store. Then we cut and then follow her around the store a little bit more. And I wrote, someone just recorded this audio right from the camera. There is constant buzzing.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even shut off the air conditioner or the fluorescent lights that are just going the whole time. Then the lady, Helen, she looks through these stuffed animals and she picks up the ugliest doll I've ever seen. And the store lady goes, "You like it? Let me tell you a little story about this puppet." All of a sudden, it sounds like a fire alarm goes off as this incredibly loud tonal music plays.
Now, those be warned, if you ever go to see this in a theater, we don't know why you would, but any kind of screening, prepare yourselves, because it is the most deafening, shrill noise you will ever hear in your life.
Oh, this is louder than any of the dialogue.
Yeah, I thought it was like an alarm going off. I thought it was like an Amber
I thought
Alert.
it was a fire alarm.
I thought it was an Amber Alert coming through my computer.
I'm not even going to play it in the podcast because it would people would turn this off if they heard it.
Oh, you haven't already? Yeah, it sounds like, in fact, it distorts your speakers when you hear it. It is so bad, and it completely overblows any dialogue that you're supposed to be hearing.
Well, okay, so I thought it was like almost in Kill Bill when she would say her name and they would bleep it out.
Yeah.
I thought it was like intentional, like, oh, they don't want us to find out what the story
The dialogue.
is.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's just for some reason they mix the music so fucking loud that you can't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you a little story about this puppet. The owner of this puppet was
But what she says is, this puppet has been sold 4 times and it always finds its way back. And I wrote, so why would anyone buy it after hearing that pitch? Like,
It's a curio shop. That's why you go there to buy that kind of shit.
okay, no.
Yes.
I imagine going to buy a car and somebody being like, I've sold this car 4 times and somehow it always just finds its way back.
I know.
I'd be like, let's look at another, No, thank you. I wrote, at this point, this total music is giving me a headache, and I thought this was intentional. I was like, I'm actually getting a migraine.
Like a 2001 kind of like.
It's
for like
terrible.
a good 30
It's
seconds.
terrible.
It is. Oh God.
So thankfully the music ends, and then so Helen, she puts the puppet back, and I like this.
That's my favorite part.
All right, what'd she do?
So she puts it back, and she kind of slowly starts walking away.
She like pats the lady's shoulder.
Yeah.
And she goes, some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she slowly walks away.
Yeah. And then she kind of stops, pauses, and for some reason she goes back to it, and then she kind of unearths it, and then real quick she goes, so how much is it? And then we cut.
Yeah, immediate cut.
I laughed so hard at that part. I can't tell you.
Casio music. Oh, okay. By the way, we haven't said this yet. The performances in this movie, I would say nothing compares to how bad the performances are in this movie. They are just so bad.
Yeah.
And obviously, the people were not actors.
Yeah.
I mean, this was obviously people he knew or people from the neighborhood or something. I mean, they're trying. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I'm giving him that too. I mean, this guy is trying to be creative, but this is just our natural reaction to it after having enduring it. It is somewhat rage-inducing at parts, but it also made me laugh harder than I've ever laughed at any film I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's like we always reference Birdemic.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen Birdemic, at least go watch the trailer. Or just some clips on YouTube where the acting in that movie, like, I don't believe those people are that bad of actors.
Yeah.
It's just, wow.
Vietnamese food.
Yeah, Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get some more Casio music. We're outside the store, and then we're in the lady's house. And, okay, so Helen, I keep calling her lady in there. So Helen walks inside, and she sings this song, and the lyrics only consist of, yes, Jesus loves me, about 4 or 5 times, just over and over and over.
Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me.
And just says it a couple times as she brings in this shipping box where the puppet came
Yeah.
in.
I was like, that's a little large for a puppet box.
I'm like, nobody buys an item like that and takes it home in a shipping box. You just carry it home or put it in a bag.
I think that's what the camcorder came in when it arrived.
So she opens this shipping box and she takes the puppet out and she puts him on the toilet seat.
Which I love.
And then I didn't understand why she did this, but she comes over and she puts stockings on his arms.
Yeah.
But then I did figure out why they did this.
It made sense later.
Okay, so they put stockings on his... She goes, I'm going to put these on your arms to make you look more real. And so you guessed too. The only reason they put those on is because when they switched to the puppet being a kid, it makes sense.
Yeah. Otherwise... That's where that $10,000 went to, those little stockings.
Yeah. So then we cut, but we're still in the same room. Break the 180 rule. And she's in a robe now.
Yeah.
And I wrote, "Is this a different time?" So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like we're at one side of her, cut, other side, different outfit, puppet still on the toilet. Totally break the 180 rule. And then she looks at it and she goes, "These are the only eyes that will see me naked unless we are married." And then takes off her bathrobe. Zoom into her feet.
Yeah. Stay there
Then-
for about a good 15 seconds.
Yeah, slow zoom pan to the puppet. Jump cut from the puppet to the other side. We're going to go to the other side of the puppet. And the horrible tonal music comes back. And all of a sudden, the puppet, he opens his eyes. And he looks in his shower. And he opens his mouth. And what happens, Chris?
The shower curtain starts sliding open by itself.
Mysteriously.
Yeah.
And we see Helen. And she's soaping herself up.
Yeah.
And she apparently doesn't notice that the curtain's drawn now. The tonal music will not stop. It's horrifying. Cut to the shot of... Okay, so it goes from her soaping herself up in the shower. Then we get a random cut to the puppet licking her nipples.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Cut back to the shower. More puppet foreplay. Cut back to the shower. And I wrote, is she imagining this?
That's
or
what
the puppet?
I couldn't figure that out either. I think it's the puppet.
Because so she's rubbing herself. Okay, then we cut to the puppet having sex with her.
Yeah.
Balling her.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote, what is going on? Eventually, she stops rubbing herself and says, oh, God, what am I doing to myself? And I wrote, I guess she was masturbating.
Yeah.
So she must have been fantasizing it, and I guess the puppet put it into her head.
Yeah. Because if it can open a shower curtain, it can do that.
Cut to the bedroom. Puppet sitting by the window now. We hear the lady moaning. We slow zoom out of the puppet, and we pan to... slow zoom, yeah. Start on the puppet, zoom out, pan over to the lady, zooms in too much into Helen to the point where she gets really out of focus, and she's having a nightmare. Imagines running down the hall with the puppet on her back, which is great because it's just a shot of her going, ah! And then the puppet's just like flailing around on her back. She's running down a hall. Cut to the puppet with his mouth open, and he's now spewing smoke out of his mouth.
Yeah. Is that like his aphrodisiac kind of...
Well, we'll get to
potion?
that because it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Helen wakes up and she looks at the puppet. It's just sitting there. And I wrote, I think at this point she regrets the purchase. So she says
Just looking for that receipt right now.
She then says something inaudible, and then puts the puppet back in the bathroom on the toilet, and she goes back to bed. Cut to alarm clock. And I wrote, okay, so the alarm clock's going off, and I wrote, there is too much tone in this movie.
Yeah.
Too many tonal cues. Either like something going on in the scene that's tone related, Casio keyboard tone.
Why can't there be like just a plane taking off as B-roll somewhere?
Things are happening.
Things are happening.
So she shuts off the alarm clock. It takes forever, but she finally gets it off. The tone stops.
Would she like unplug it or something or what?
No, she's just like, like hitting it. You know, the old trope of
Yeah.
somebody just can't get it off.
No.
Jump cut to her reading in bed. So like,
Yeah. In fact,
shuts
it
off.
looks like the camera did not move at all.
No, it didn't move.
It looks like...
It's still in the same shot.
Yeah.
Cut to, she's sitting up reading.
Yeah.
And then throws the book down. And the puppet is now back there in the room by the window. Casio music plays this whole time. We cut between her shaking her head and the puppet for a while. And I wrote, what is happening? She just sits there and goes, and the puppet's just doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll start wide, a little bit wide on her. Zoom in, cut to puppet, cut to her, zoom out, cut to the puppet, cut to her, zoom in. And this goes on for a good 3 minutes.
That's a good vertigo-inducing 3 minutes, yeah.
Then all of a sudden she decides, at one point it zooms so far into her face that everything's so completely out of focus, we are able to finally cut out of this.
Yeah.
To her taking forever to get out of bed. She takes the puppet, slowly puts it into the closet, into the box it came with, while Casio music still plays. Close the closet, and then we zoom in again until it blurs. Cut to later ? She walks through the front door and says, I'm going to go check on this puppet and see if he's where I left him. Casio music, same as before, but slower this time, plays. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It was the same song, but he just put down the tempo a little bit.
Yeah. Because we're trying to slow down the mood.
Yeah.
It's a I don't know what the hell it is. Never mind. There's no way to describe what's going on here.
So she opens the closet and she sighs and she's, oh, thank God. And I wrote, why not return it at this point? Why not throw it away?
Burn it.
Why
bury
not destroy it? Yeah.
You know what I would have loved is if when it appeared back on the thing, right before you hear that, you hear like the toilet flush. And then you see the dog. You hear these little steps like scurrying back into the bedroom.
Oh, I love that. So then we cut to her eating at the table in her kitchen. She puts away the dishes. And I wrote at this point, I can't believe this will be over an hour.
Yeah.
She turns on the shower. Cut to, zoom in on the closet door. Door opens. Box opens. Puppet walks out. And I mean walks out as in it's now no longer a puppet and clearly a person. Because we see this little kid's legs walk out of the box. But they're smart enough not to just show the whole kid. They only show his legs or his hands. Cut back to that shower. Now the puppet is alive. As in just a kid in an outfit, same as the puppet. He stands in the bathroom door, and he slowly walks in. Shaky camera of hallway. Didn't see anything of value.
Nope. So the real estate video is going to be great. This thing is going to be a hot property, I'll tell you.
It cuts from the puppet in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Then we cut to outside in like the living room / hallway, and it just kind of pans around for a little bit, and I was like, oh, we're going to go into the door. No, there's nothing.
Nope.
Nothing value. I'm wondering, why is this shot even in it?
This obviously isn't the re-edited version. I can't tell. If it is, I don't want to see the unedited version of this.
Oh my God.
It's going to end with...
Can you imagine this with more footage?
Yeah, it would be like...
I can't.
It would end with me as a skeleton with my phone in my hand trying to take notes.
So we zoom into the puppet until it's completely out of focus, and I just put so much zoom.
Yeah.
She gets out of the shower. More tonal music starts. Thank God. She dries herself off. And then, still shots of the puppet attacking her. So before, we actually saw a full motion shot of the puppet attacking her. Now, it's just like photographs?
Well, he found the strobe effect
on
the camcorder. And he's like, halfway through, he's like, hold on, everybody. Check this shit out. Roll it.
There's also another effect she'll use later,
Yeah.
which was oh man, I remember when I got my first camera and I was like, oh my God, can you believe it? There's sepia tone, there's black and white, there's negative. He looks like the Predator.
Yeah.
So you see these still shots of the puppet attacking her, and then when he's done, there's like an Atari sound effect that plays like she just died, like a Pac-Man death or something. Like, burn, burn, burn. And I wrote, I guess she's knocked out or dead. Don't know. Then the puppet looks at her body, and he finally talks. And he says, how do you like that, bitch?
How do you like that, bitch?
And then drags her, and he breathes out some of that smoke, throws her on the bed. He opens the door. So then it cuts to the kid, not the puppet.
Yeah.
And like child arms opening a drawer and pulling out rope.
Yeah.
And now the kid ties this lady to a bed. And then we get the puppet again, and he's looking at her. He goes,
Bitch, wake up, bitch.
And Helen wakes up, and she's just going in the bed, and she somehow doesn't know that the puppet's there or can't get a grip on reality. And the puppet goes,
Bitch. I said, wake up, bitch. Wake up.
And then she finally notices the puppet, and she goes, no, this isn't happening to me. And the puppet starts laughing. And he goes, yes, this is what you want, and I'm going to give it to you. Then we get a few more zooms. The puppet slowly walks to the front of the bed as Casio music plays. The puppet stands at the foot of the bed, and he says, here's Johnny. So we're going to rip off The Shining right here. And the puppet crawls through the covers, and he goes between her legs. And then he rises slowly up into the frame, and he says,
Before I give you a lesson in pleasure, I'm going to give you a lesson in pain.
And then he breathes smoke out of his mouth onto the lady. And she goes, oh God, motherfucker, foul odor.
Motherfucker, foul. All of the...
So I guess the breath doesn't do anything.
No.
Other than just smells bad.
Yeah.
Because she was already entranced by him. I guess maybe she gets all into it or something.
I think that's what the breath does. It's like
It's
put a
gotta be,
spell
right?
on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's gotta
She
be.
inhales and it's like, oh shit.
So then he says, the puppet goes,
Now that you have smelt the foulness of my breath, you may now taste the sweetness of my tongue.
then this horrible looking tongue comes out of his mouth.
Latex and a coat hanger, everybody.
And it slowly licks the lady. And she's like kind of crying at this point. And this shot goes on for way too long of the slow lick all the way up her body. Then she says, where are you taking that marvelous tongue of yours? And I wrote, now she likes it?
Yeah.
So the smoke must have entranced her. You're
Yeah.
right. And then he goes, where do you think I'm taking it to? Then, of course, we couldn't get away from it. That tone music comes back. And I wrote, I guess he's going downtown at this point.
Yep.
And she starts to enjoy it. And she goes, it's wonderful. I feel strange inside. Then the puppet, he rises his head up in a frame and he goes,
What did you stop for? Oh.
And now, I'm gonna fuck you, bitch, and give you your heartfelt desire.
Oh.
and she says, yes, please fuck me?
Yeah.
And at this point, I could not understand what was going on. I'm like, wait a second. Is it like Stockholm Syndrome? Like she's like, trying to be agreeable with the rapist or something?
I'm
going
throwing
on?
in with the fog breath being.
It's
a
gotta be,
spell.
right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna bang a puppet. Sure.
So then we go back to he found the strobe effect on his camera, still shots of her and like them screaming, and the puppet's like having sex with her. Then we cut to the puppet having sex with her, which is a great shot of just this puppet just going up and down on this lady.
Under the covers, like half under the covers, so
I
you
do
can't
love
see
how
it.
he has the covers on.
Yeah.
And I wrote, this goes on for way too long. And at this point, I look at the timer and go, this is 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
How is there possibly going to be 40 more minutes?
Yeah,
That's what I wrote.
and we will find out why, where that time goes. Because if there's any indication from the opening credits, it is like sweet relief.
Oh, God. When it finally does end, I was like, oh, thank God it wasn't the full time that it says here. Thank God. So the puppet finally finishes, and she asks why he stops. And he goes, because I want you to beg for it, bitch.
Yeah.
So she begs for it. Then he keeps mauling her. Zoom in and out for a while, because why not? Mm-hmm. Still shots again for some reason. We got to throw in those camera effects. And she...
Is this a commercial for the camera or the house?
Oh, it will be a commercial for both the camera and editing software, because I cannot fucking wait what happens next on one of these scenes. I mean, this movie puts star wipes to shame. I'll just say that.
There is a wipe in there, though.
I know. I can't wait to get to it. So she keeps saying it's wonderful while he's doing this, and she keeps saying I feel strange inside, and then fade to black.
Yeah.
Alarm clock goes off, because why not? More tone. The lady wakes up. She turns off the alarm, and she goes, it didn't happen. Nah. Gets out of bed, gets dressed, but then all of a sudden she starts rubbing herself, and she lies down in the bed again, and she tries to convince herself it was all a dream, and it didn't happen. Then she starts looking around for the puppet. She looks under the bed for some reason. Don't know why it'd be there. And then she looks around the house. She keeps rubbing herself on everything around the house while this is going on. And she keeps saying, where are you, Mr. Wonderful?
So she's been turned within like one evening of puppet ecstasy.
Oh, yeah, pleasure. So she gets on the phone and she calls her friend. And I wrote, this is the part where we finally learn her name is Helen. I don't know why she calls this friend of hers, but she says something about how she's not feeling well. And I wrote, not really sure what this is about. Must be relating to church, because all she does, except fuck puppets and shower, is talk about church.
I mean, isn't that everyone you know who goes to church?
So then, and this is the re-edit. We watch her wash dishes. Then fucking square zoom, like in a fucking square cut,
Square wipe.
the square wipe to vacuuming the floor.
So we get to see this woman's day in its entirety.
Yeah, and she does chores around the house.
Yeah.
She's okay, washing dishes, square wipe, vacuuming. And now we have music going on that actually has singing in it now, and I wish there wasn't, because it's just Casio keyboard music with like the guy from Super Chick just going like while this is going on. Can't understand a word in the song.
It's like, you obviously didn't know that there are other ways to show time elapsing. Maybe just show it outside, show it darker,
Just
cut
show
back
a
inside.
clock or something. Yeah, just show it being dark outside.
Show a sunset.
Cut to
Take second unit outside.
Yeah.
Set him on the lawn and wait for fucking 6 o'clock at night.
But no, cut to her putting Ajax in her tub, scrubbing it. Cut to black. Alarm clock. Now it's not going off, and I almost wonder, is the audio on my computer no longer working? No, we zoom out of the alarm clock, and she's making her bed. Fade to black.
So one whole day has elapsed.
Yeah, I guess.
This is how we know.
The whole day.
Well, the Ajax came out. There must be evening.
Then we cut to church calendar. Really, really so far zoomed in, we can barely even see what it is. Zoom out, of course. And the lady says, damn, fuck it. She takes the calendar off the wall. She gets rid of that small Bible on the coffee table. Gets rid of her Mary statue. Gets rid of the big Bible. And she throws it all in the trash. She's a changed woman at this point.
Shanina was a good puppet dickin'.
Cut to man walking around outside her window. It's the same guy who tried to sell her the stuff from the car.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't figure out until he actually came in, and I was like, oh, silly me, thinking they could have afforded another actor. So she taps on the window to get this guy's attention, and he just looks in, and you hear the mouthing of the words, who, me?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, you. Cut to him being inside, and
her?
for some reason, no, not yet.
Oh.
For some reason, she tells him the whole story about the puppet. So basically, Helen recites the entire movie up until this minute.
Which, if you didn't listen earlier, we recapped in the synopsis. So she gives him the synopsis off the back of the fucking box.
And I'll paraphrase. So, the other day when you were trying to sell me that stuff and I didn't buy anything and I said stealing's wrong, then I went home. Then I went to this store. Then I saw this puppet. Then the lady at the store told me 4 people had bought this puppet for, and it always comes back. But for some reason, I bought the puppet. Then I took it home. Then I opened the box. Then I took a shower. Then the puppet raped me. Then I really liked it, and the next day I was looking for it, but it was gone. Then I washed some dishes. Then I vacuumed my floor. She goes through,
grab the motherfucking tub,
literally until the second when she goes, and then I clicked on my window, and you came in, and we're right here. And then the guy goes. The guy goes.
They cut to him, and he's just a skeleton at this point in his suit.
So, and while she's telling him all this, she's like rubbing herself.
Yeah.
And he goes, and of course the tonal music come out, and of course zooms, the tonal and zoom coming back. Because where would a scene in this movie be without those two things?
Yeah, it's zoom and tone.
And you can barely understand him, but he goes, baby, you expect me to believe this? That you were raped by a puppet? I ain't heard better stories than this before in my life, but you expect me to believe this?
Hey, wait a minute, Mom. Hey, Mom, you expect me to believe this? That you were raped by a puppet? I ain't heard better stories than this before in my life, but a puppet. You expect me to believe it?
3 days,
like,
Mike.
okay.
3 days.
This guy obviously could not get out these lines. No. But then you told me it was looped. So this was re-recorded.
Yeah.
That is the worst English diction I've ever heard in my life. I'm sorry. He says, I ain't heard better stories than this before in my life, but you expect me to believe this. That's amazing.
I mean, when you're reciting what you just read off of a Taco Bell napkin, it's a little hard to pick out the words.
I feel like it was just one take, and he's like, yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Good enough.
It's like he messed up while reading it. It's just like, yeah, I'm just, I only got so many of these mini DV tapes, or VHS tapes.
You wonder how many they went through. No, it's all in one tape, I'm sure. It's all the same tape.
That is what they spent $10,000 on. You know what it is? They either bought that camera, because back then those cameras were thousands of dollars.
That had to have been
or they rented it, which was still very expensive.
Yeah.
That must have been where all the 10,000 and VHS tapes were not cheap back then.
Yeah.
It must have been it.
It's like, as I can tell you now, when CDRs first came out, Little funny quick story here, because this will relieve all of us of this drudgery. When CDRs first came out, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. They were like $20 a pop just for one. So I take it home. I had no idea how it worked. I loved music. I wanted to make music. So not knowing any better, the doofus that I was, I won't tell you how old I was. It's embarrassing. I popped this thing in my CD player, pressed play, and started playing my guitar into the speaker of the CD player.
And you're like, why it not record?
I'll tell you, the disappointment when I pressed stop and play to hear nothing back. I felt, wow, that was $20 down the drain.
Then Chris goes outside, throws it in the trash.
Along with my dreams.
I would like to see you go back to Best Buy or something and be like, I'd like to return this CD. I don't think it works. Yeah. Oh, really? What'd you do? Well, I put it in my boombox and I tried to record into it, but for some reason it wouldn't do anything. And the guy just stares at you like, yeah, what are you? Yeah. What are you, in 7th grade, kid?
It's actually, I think it was 9th.
Oh, Lord.
You know what? Shut up. That's what.
Okay, so while she's okay, let's
so
get back to the movie.
After that commercial break, back to the drudgery that is this movie.
So after she recites the whole thing, the guy says the best English diction I've ever heard in my life. She starts touching him, and she goes, "What's your name?" And I think he says, because you can't understand a word he says, even though you told me this audio is looped.
Yeah,
that's his name is Sweet Pie,
something like that.
And I says, the problem is the room tone is so goddamn loud, I can't hear anything anybody's saying. But then they start kissing. Cut to him having sex with her. And he's making a lot of noise.
He is giving it his all.
He's like, and it's almost like, dude, you might want to slow down there. I think.
Leave a little for yourself there. I mean, you know what I mean?
So she's just sitting there, like without a look on her face, just kind of like she's elsewhere, you know? She says nothing, barely even reacts to this, and he's getting really sweaty.
Are you sure they just didn't take like baby oil and just like douse him for the effect?
Well, I don't know. His whole face is just dripping sweat at this point.
Yeah.
And he looks
it's almost
at her,
viscous at this point.
He looks at her, he goes, damn, you can't even enjoy yourself? Shit, you don't know how. Well, I can. And he just keeps going for a while, and she goes,
You just hurry up and finish. And get the hell on out of here.
Cut to very sweaty face of him as he finishes. And I wrote, another goddamn square wipe. So the guy finishes, and he's like, and it freeze frames square wiping to his face.
That's how all sex tapes need to end. Paris Hilton's, everyone's.
Cut to Helen in the bed alone. And she goes, damn. She gets up and she gets dressed and she puts on lipstick and looks at herself in the mirror and she goes, that will work. Casio music. She's in a bar now. Zoom into her walking into this bar. She smiles at some guy at the end of the bar. Takes off her coat. I wrote, this man's wearing a great hat, which is like a mix between a cowboy hat and a fedora.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out
with an anchor on the front.
Yeah.
You can figure out what
the hell it was.
It was very interesting.
I thought they like made it, or they got it from the curio shop, or maybe it originally went on the puppet. We don't know.
Okay. I retract my previous. It is a cowboy hat mixed with a top hat. It's like a top hat with a cowboy hat shape. It's very odd. So there's lots of zooms in and out, of course. Then we get singing music to a Casio soundtrack as she walks up and talks to him. There's no audio, only this, quote, song, is what I wrote.
Yeah.
This goes on for a while. Another Casio song starts, this time no singing, thankfully. They kiss, and then they dance. This goes on for a while, as we watch various couples dance around the dance floor. Cut to shots of clothes lying on the floor. She says things about how... okay, did you get this part? Because she says things about how she has these men, like, had these men over, and they can't please her or something.
Yeah, she's insatiable in a way. That's, again, the audio, the dialogue, I can get too much.
But like,
from
does
that.
he say anything? Like, does she say something about him or something?
Not that I could.
Because
tell.
he goes like something about how, oh no, trust me, I'm good. But then it just cuts to them in bed.
Yeah,
and he just gets up and leaves. And I was like, wait, So they already had sex, I guess?
I don't know.
And he didn't. The same thing happened
I
as the
was
last
hoping
time?
to bounce that off of you because I'm not sure what happened.
I couldn't get it.
No.
I just wrote, I don't understand what happened, but he leaves and she goes, don't forget to shut the door.
You're letting all the stank out.
Cut to her crying in bed and feeling herself again. And she keeps saying over and over, I can't find the puppet.
So this is like this lust fucking because she can't find the goddamn puppet.
She's like, oh, I need that goddamn puppet. Never had anything better. That one night stand she just couldn't get out of her head. Then we cut to the other effect that, what was this guy's name, Calvin?
Yeah.
That he just found out was in his camera this day.
Oh, Chester, I'm sorry.
Chester.
Yeah.
Chester just found out that this video camera also comes with a negative feature. So he figures, oh shit, can't wait to use this for a high impact scene where we cut back to the store with the lady from the store looking directly into the lens and says, I've sold this puppet 4 times, and each time it comes back to the store. Cut to the store. Helen knows where to go. She walks in, and she goes, the puppet here? And the lady goes, yeah, just where it always goes. And she goes, I want my property back. So she walks into the room and picks up the puppet, and the lady from the store goes, whoa, 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 whoa. You're going to have to pay for that because it returned on its own.
I love that.
I was like, she paid for it.
Yeah.
It's obviously hers.
There's no questions asked.
Helen goes, okay, and pays for it again. So she has no qualms about
You'd
it.
think she would like chain it like to something when she brings it back home.
So I don't understand, by the way. I don't know what Helen does for work or anything like this. Because apparently she can afford a house and afford to buy this puppet. So I just assumed that this whole movie takes place over one weekend, but I don't know.
Well, church was on a Sunday, so technically now Monday.
A Monday she got
Tuesday.
fucked by a puppet. Tuesday she couldn't find the puppet.
So she got fucked
and
by
she
someone
cleaned.
else. She
No, she cleaned.
Cleaned, yes.
Wednesday goes and gets fucked by that other guy.
Yeah.
Thursday goes to the bar and gets fucked.
Yeah.
Friday goes back for her puppet.
Good Friday.
Must be her week off.
Must be like an RN or something.
So she brings home the puppet. She takes it out and she sits him on the bed. And she gets undressed. And she goes, what are you waiting for? Do it to me. Don't you know these last few days with you have been hell? You awaken the real me. Nobody else can satisfy me. I need your touch. But the puppet doesn't do anything. Then she says she's been with other men, several men. She actually says that. She goes, look, I've been with other men, several men. And I can tell you that all I think about is you. I close my eyes and that's all I can think about. Then she starts rubbing the puppet's face for a while. And then thankfully, because it hasn't been around for a while, the tone music comes back.
In case we forgot what we're watching.
And she goes, damn you. I said to make love to me. If I can't have you, no one else will. Then all of a sudden, Chris, what happens?
Motherfucker goes ape shit.
So the puppet's eyes go all white.
Yeah.
And start to like flash around. And I was like, this is the best effect in the movie, by the way.
Yeah, I actually was like, wow, this is like, maybe that's where 5,000 went to get this rotoscoping effect done. They sent this to like...
Do you think that,
Steven
or they
Lers-
just put a light bulb in the puppet and took out the eyeballs?
I think they farmed it out to Steven Lisberger from Tron, who made the Tron effect. Sent it out to, where they did for that movie, they sent it out to, I believe, Asia. And they had Asian college students work on all those effects. Shipped it back to Chicago and said, and here's our movie.
So Helen shakes her head around while the puppet's eyes are going, right?
Yeah.
And she somehow has blood coming from the top of her head and from her eyes and all this.
Cut back to her, a wide shot of the blood gone.
Yeah. But she's still shaking around.
Yeah.
Then she got blood back on her. And the puppet keeps doing this like jacking off motion. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that? He
Yeah.
had like a fist and he's like, hey, hey, hey. Then she just falls on the bed and I wrote, I guess dies? While this toy rabbit starts clicking.
Like this Energizer Bunny kind of motion.
That has been in the movie the whole time and has never done anything.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden now it just starts banging the cymbals.
Mm-hmm.
Goes on for a while, fade to black. And I thought, oh, thank God, the movie's over.
Yep.
No. Cut back to the store, which we find out is called Road's End. How fitting. VO of the store lady, as she says, the first owner of this puppet was an East Indian, and it's believed that this puppet has very strange powers. It is said that it is able to give its owner its heartfelt wish. Then we cut to another lady who's buying the puppet. And apparently the store lady's been telling her this and then says, I've sold this puppet on 5 occasions, and each time it finds its way back. Technically, it's now 6.
Yeah.
Because Helen bought it
She
twice.
bought it again, so there you go.
But did she say that whole thing about the East Indian thing to this lady?
No.
No, to this lady that's in the store now.
Oh.
Because I'm like, she didn't say that to Helen.
No, she did not say that.
Yeah, you could have said that. She'd know what to expect. It's heartfelt wish.
Yes. The monkey's paw of fucking, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because apparently Helen just wanted a good dickin'. Thanks, everybody, for joining. So this other lady decides, of course, she's going to buy the puppet. Cut to her at her house. The theme song from the beginning plays that heavy metal music as she puts down this box, the same box that Helen got it from. She takes off her coat and goes in the other room, and then she comes out and the box is open. She looks around for the puppet, and she grabs her head and she silently screams into the camera, "What the fuck?" Credits roll.
Thank God.
And I wrote, "What the fuck indeed?"
Yeah, because it is relieving to say that, okay, when you looked online when the playhead is going, it said it was like, what, an hour 17
It said
minutes?
hour 17 something, and I was like, oh God. When I saw it was only 40 minutes, I was like, how the hell am I going to watch another 40 minutes of this?
Yeah.
It ends at, like, thank God, at around 1 hour.
Yeah.
And then the credits go for another 5 minutes, the end credits. Well, that's where the puppet is credited as a question mark.
Right.
But the credits go on for another 5 minutes as that heavy music plays. Then whoever put this on YouTube didn't edit out the end of it, and it's just like
the color code at the
you
end.
get the color bars from their VCR.
I think it adds to it, really. It gives it that charm.
Yeah, it's certainly charming. So, Chris, recommendation?
Oh my God. I'm really I'm like half in, half out on this one. To be honest, I just saw like 30 seconds of it on a just going like, you know what, we need to cover this. And I'm like, I watched them like, we're not gonna last. This is just not gonna do it. No one listening to this is gonna make it through all the way. I swear to God.
I saw this. Okay, Chris sends me this link, and I laughed. I was like, oh yeah, that looks great. I've never heard of this movie before, and I usually know about these weird, bizarre movies with that nobody knows about. But this one has definitely passed me by. Must be because it's mainly, I guess, showing on the East Coast or something. New York Times, Chicago.
Yeah.
I never heard of it before. Mm-hmm. And I asked you today, after you had watched it, I said, Chris, is it worth doing? And you go, oh yeah, it's great. And I'm like all excited. I get home from a long day of work, and I'm like, all right, let me fire up the movie. I'll start taking notes. I have never checked the clock so many times in my life.
Because what am I going to say? No, it's terrible. You're not going to want to watch it. You need to go in with a preconceived notion. I couldn't do that to you. I was like, there's no way we're going to get through this.
Oh, I was like so thankful it was only an hour.
Yeah. Can you imagine the stretched into an actual hour and
30
minutes?
No, I would not have lasted.
Because there is a version 2007, just Black Devil Doll, which is completely...
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's just say...
Yeah.
We should have put this in the beginning. Not to be confused with the 2007 movie Black Devil Doll, which is like a self-aware comedy movie.
It's a version of this. That came out 2007. Before this had come back in 2013. So this was still like really underground. The guy who made Black Devil Doll 2007, a guy named Sean, runs a company called Rotten Cotton. And they do all those.
So he knew about this movie.
Yes,
then.
In fact, so he's aware of the exploitation films. He makes shirts of these films and stuff like that. So he took it upon himself to make a version of this film. It's kind of like, like Inglourious Bastards. Then there's Quentin Tarantino's version of Inglourious Bastards. So it's kind of in that same vein. Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I've heard everybody really likes that version of it.
Yeah.
But we figured we don't, unless for some reason he wanted to come on this show and talk about it, we don't cover self-aware movies.
Yeah.
Because we feel like, well, unless the creators are going to come on and talk about it, then that's something a little different. But we figure we only do the real exploitation in the moment.
Right.
Like I always say, you know, everybody here has probably seen The Room, Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Since then, he has gone on to like try and make his own TV show. But everybody, he screens this before screenings of The Room. And like I was going to go see a screening of The Room, a live screening recently.
Yeah.
But I read on AV Club, I believe, that they were like, don't go see it. Because now Tommy Wiseau is so self-aware of the movie and its cult following that he kind of comes out, you know, he throws the football around, he's saying all these lines, like he's all in on the joke now.
Yeah, it's like the monkey must dance and here's the song.
Yeah.
Same old song.
And he makes this show now that he screens in front of the movie, The Room, which is like terrible.
Is
it's
it
apparently
Neighbors?
just like, yeah, Neighbors, and it's all self-aware and like he's making it all bad on purpose and everything. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Once it becomes self-aware, I don't think it's as good.
No,
to me,
not
it's
at all.
like I've never seen Sharknado, nor would I ever see the Sharknado movies or most of those movies, because I don't know. I just, if it's self-aware to me, it's just it's not genuine.
No,
you know?
not at all.
That's not to say that you could make a bad. I mean, if you tried to make it good, but be self-aware and like kind of have a Grindhouse theme to it, I'd like that.
Yeah, like the actual Grindhouse, you know, revival
Yeah, no,
films,
see,
like,
I love Grindhouse. Like, actually, well, I didn't like Planet Terror that much, but I
No.
did like. I'm
Death
probably
Proof?
one of the few people that like Death Proof.
Death Proof was great, I thought.
So, because to me, Planet Terror is what everybody thought a Grindhouse movie was.
Yeah.
You know, I guess the people don't really watch that many exploitation movies, but it's not like any exploitation movie I'd seen.
No.
Like, it's trying too hard.
Yeah.
But Death Proof to me was exactly what an exploitation movie
Yeah.
is. It's like that crown wandering plot, you know.
Yes.
The dialogue's really good. We just sit on these scenes for a while, and it's about one person, you know, stuntman Mike, and the girls that get in his way and then eventually beat him. I love that movie.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal.
I think, and everybody hates that one, which I never understood.
Yeah, man. It's at like last I checked, like a couple days ago, it was like at 65% of Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, are you shitting me? This is like
I really like Death Proof.
Yeah.
I thought that was the better of the two
it
movies.
is. It encapsulates the heart of the Grindhouse era of filmmaking at that time. It really is true to the genre.
Well, for sure. And I just recently rewatched Django, which, you know, Django Unchained is actually named after another Western called Django. Yeah. And the guy who plays Django in the original movie's in Django Unchained. Mm-hmm. He's in the scene when they have the Mandingo fighting.
Oh, cool.
And he goes up to Jamie Foxx at one point and he goes, "How do you spell that name?" And he says the D is silent, and he goes, "I know." It's supposed to be like a little nod.
Yeah.
'Cause it's him. I couldn't believe he made that movie, because I'm rewatching it going like, this is like a giant exploitation. This is $100 million exploitation movie that is put on the screen and somehow made money and was nominated for Academy Awards.
Incredible.
Brilliant move.
Yeah, incredible. Good for him. Good for him. I'll back Quentin all the way.
Yeah.
I dig him.
I would say if you're curious, check it out.
Yeah, curiosity, definitely try and satiate it. I'd say this goes well with a group of friends, maybe some alcohol.
Yeah, if you have a lot of friends around and beers, fire it up. It'll be a good watch.
I can't.
If you're alone, no.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't subject yourself to this.
Because they might never find your body. I don't know how.
I almost killed Chris when he came over, you son of a bitch.
Because maybe it's different at a midnight screening. There's a different energy.
I think it would be much more fun.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever watched The Room by yourself? Because I haven't.
No.
There's no way in hell
Yeah,
I'd
the
watch
first time
that.
I saw The Room was watching with you, and it was like, oh, yeah, this is great.
Having a good laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Imagine watching that yourself.
I think that's our mistake, was with this. We watched it on our own and was just horrible.
Yeah, and I made you watch Birdemic with me because I was like, there's no way I'm watching this fucking shit by myself.
Yeah. These films like this are made for group viewings.
Yeah. So if you have a bunch of friends over, do them a favor and fire up Black Devil Doll from Hell and just pretend like it's your favorite movie and go, no, this movie's great. You guys got to see it, okay? It's great.
Or else they will never watch it with you
and
otherwise.
defend it the whole time. Be like, no, this is when it gets good. Trust me.
Because to be honest, you do get a Twilight Zone sense through it. Like the story-wise, the theme of it.
Yeah. like a straight ripoff of.
Yeah, it is
Twilight.
a straight ripoff of it, but that's basically all.
Everybody remembers that great episode of Twilight Zone when that doll raped that lady.
Yeah, right. Doll rapist. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
1959, I think it was. Yeah. No, but there is a little Twilight Zone, and you can tell it's inspiration. Cool. It's just, oh man.
Uh-oh. You hear that?
Oh shit.
Uh-oh. I
Yeah,
hear it.
Yeah, I hear it. It's loud and clear. How can you not? It's like right next to my head.
Hey, guys. Oh, I think I heard Bobby.
Yeah.
Did you hear that lamp short out? Uh-oh. Chris, the straight arrow has just rolled up, and our regular feature on this show, The Grind Bin, is how does every movie we watch relate to the first movie we ever covered on this podcast, 1977's The Van, directed by Sam Grossman, starring Stuart Goetz and Danny DeVito. These boys are always up to some sort of mischief, and what are they up to today, Chris? How do they fit into Black Devil Doll from Hell?
I have two ideas for this.
Two?
Yeah, so and they're totally parallel from each other, so you cannot have them in the same universe. But one version has Bobby and DeVito buying it, and they figure out what it's able to do to them, and they decide to just put a wig on it, put some eyeliner on it, some makeup, and just sort of like really whore it out, and change some anatomy, and then change some anatomy, and then just kind of.
Oh, you think about it. If that puppet can turn a lady into lusting after men.
Yeah.
They're like, Bobby, I got this idea. I heard about this puppet. It fucks these broads. It gets them really ready.
Yeah.
So what we do is let him take the puppet home. It has sex with him. Then we can't please him, but that's fine, because we'll still get pleased. We'll go in, do a little pump and dump, get on out of there, case solved.
You think that's where that doll came from? They dropped it off, like the straight arrow was like idling in the back of this curio shop. Yeah, just idling, like waiting for the next woman to like pick it up, and as soon as they see it, they see the straight arrow following this car home. Following Helen's car.
What you didn't see was them outside waiting.
He's gonna be done soon. I know it, Bobby.
That's it. That is it. And then like the end credits. So the credits end, and then we open up to the straight arrow.
Okay, hold on, because there's that line when she says to the second guy, "I've been with men." Several men, but we'd only seen one.
Yeah.
That day that she was cleaning her house.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. There you go.
Yeah, and at the end of the credits, we're going to see the straight arrow. We fade from black to just the highway of the straight arrow. And then we do an obnoxious zoom from really far in the front, and it's the Black Devil Doll driving the straight arrow.
So the Black Devil Doll's driving while Bobby's chugging his bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And DeVito's in the back going like, anybody want toast?
Yeah. And then we freeze frame, use that strobe effect, and then not fade, but just square wipe.
Square wipe.
Nothing.
So I gotta know, what was your second idea?
That was the second idea.
And the first idea was just
they just give it a sex change.
They give
so they can.
So they have sex with the doll.
Yeah.
Bobby,
get the Dremel.
Get
a Dremel and a corkscrew.
You can have the wildest night of your life.
Just, just get some. Don't get splinters. Get sandpaper. I mean, really sand it down. Really.
And this guy goes, guys, you gotta love this puppet and more.
Yeah.
Thanks again for joining us on this episode of The Grind Bin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
If you want to connect with us, you can find us on grindhousefilm.com as well as twitter.com/grindpod. We're also on Facebook as well as Instagram. You can even email us at grindbin@gmail.com with your requests for future episodes, requests for interviews, or anything else you want to tell us. If you would be so kind as to rate and review us on iTunes, we would really appreciate it.
Black Devil Doll, park the van.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team!
But you're a hooker.